Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, aka Uncle Tex, aka Professor Tex. Before we get started, hit the like button, subscribe to the page. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. Thursday, after I was sitting around the house for a little bit, this past Thursday and whatnot, because I took Friday off. I've been off since Friday. I saw something come across there that the great Dick Butkus had died. And I'm like, wow, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I text my partner. I said, man, I said, Dick Butkus died and stuff like that. Now, unlike a lot of, with me, them guys know with me, especially my partner knows, he a lover of football just like I am. But I'm a definitely, when it comes to the historian stuff, that's my gig, that's my thing, that's what I like and whatnot. So, but you got to understand what Dick Butkus like meant to somebody like myself, right? Even though he was obviously, by the time I even gathered what football was, he was pretty much done playing. He was through playing in 73, if I'm not mistaken. And I was born in 68, so I was about 5 years old by the time he actually retired. And I started, getting myself into football. But I always go back to fifth grade, fourth grade actually. But it was fifth grade, and I talked about this once before about these A through Z encyclopedias, if sports encyclopedias. And they were all black and whatnot, and it named all of the everybody from A to Z within that, and all of the sports in every sport, right? But coming up as a kid, so you would see pictures of buckets and everything like that or whatever. And Gail says I learned all this stuff about these guys. And every once in a while they'll show some stuff, you would catch that. I didn't know at the time NFL films. I would catch that. We only had 3 channels back then, so once every blue moon you'd catch some NFL film stuff, and that's how I grew. But really, when I got really, really, really into things, is actually by the time I became like 19, I actually come to Virginia. That's when I was able. That's when they started having the Crunch Court series. This man right here, this guy, and it's a host of other guys as well. But when you think of Crunch Course, you think of Dick Butkus, man. Butkus, I mean, it's like there's no question about his impact on the game. I think Howard Mudd, I think he's played, was a lineman. He passed away a couple years ago. He was a lineman. He had been an offensive lineman coach. He was a lineman for the 49ers at one point in time. He played for the Bears and whatnot. He said something real interesting. He said that with Butkus, he said his contribution on what he could do to change the game was to hit people. And that's what he did. I'm like, dude, 6'3", 245, and this is back in the mid-'60s. Holly Hurley coming out of Illinois. Butkus, some of the things that he did on the field, dude, it's like you look at his hits nowadays. And it's like, you got Ray Lewis, because Ray Lewis was talking about a play, I forget, it might have been against Tampa or whomever it was. I don't know, but he was breaking it down to Peyton Manning. He said, I could have got the interception. He said, I wanted the Butkus is joking up. The way that Butkus play, you can't play football like that no more. Which is why, like I said yesterday, when I was talking about tight ends and whatnot, that's why in Butkus there, them tight ends, you had to be a bad motherfucker, man, to sit up there and be playing that shit. That's why I said them guys, the wide receivers back during that time who actually ran across, they had to take it. Because the way Billy White Shoes Johnson said it once, I said, well, you may as well catch the damn ball. You won't get hit anyway. And you can't play the style of ball that the NFL was built on with the guys like him and Joe Schmidt and Ray Nitschke and a host of other guys, Doug Atkinson's, and just the list is endless. The list is endless and whatnot. Andy Robustelli and whatnot. Just so many guys. But I'm like, get later on with your Jack Tatums and whatnot. The part of the game was intimidation. Deacon Jones, it was intimidation. It was all about intimidation. That's what it was about. That's what the game was about at that time. And it should be about that because you cannot you have to make a joker think about coming across that. But the way he played the game, and you look at his accolades and everything he did, Butkus was like 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 8 Pro Bowls. He was an All-Pro in the Pro Bowl. Out of the 9 years, he played 8 times. He had to quit. Retired because of his knee. He had no fucking cartilage left in his fucking knee. 60s decade team, 70s decade team, 75th year anniversary team, 100th anniversary. Shit, he gonna be on 150 because he set the standard. That is what a linebacker was supposed to do. So let alone guys like Jack Lambert, they would come along and be that particular way on a smaller frame. But Jack Lambert played the game the same exact way. Now, like I said, and whatnot. So it's like Butkus, the things that he did to this day is out of this fucking world, man. And these guys getting older, and it kind of feels a certain way because all these guys are around the same age as my pops, around the same age as my pops and whatnot. So a lot of guys, what's my man named Wilcox? I think he passed away earlier part of the year. The Intimidator, hell of an outside linebacker during the latter part of the 60s and the 70s and whatnot. Dan Wilcox, who played for the 49ers and whatnot. So it's like, and of course, I just throw this out there, Russ, I forget my man's name. I can't even think of his name. It'll come to me later. The tight end, Russ Francis and whatnot. Remember him as a kid. He was a really good tight end and stuff like that. Played for the Niners, played for the New England Patriots at first and whatnot. But that was the thing. These guys like that, and you take a look here and whatnot, and we can go there, man. It's just like you got guys, you look at him here. These guys don't play these fucking games, cats like whether it was Junior Seau and Ray Lewis and them later. I said, man, these guys, they can try whatever like that, but this is what Ray Lewis probably last. And to me, Ray Lewis last best with inside linebackers or whatever that had that particular type of mentality and whatnot. But you take a look at what Butkus was doing, dude. It's just like, dude, look, it was like no holds barred, man. It's like this is not a game. This is like like my man said, Deacon Jones. He said he wanted to put you in the hospital. And to me, that's the way the game is supposed to be played. You signed up for that shit. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. And these guys did this and whatnot. And it's like, that's what made him great. This guy was on he won Defensive Player of the Year. And I think the team won 2 or 3 games. And he was Defensive Player of the Year. You don't have that going on like that. And that's what I'm saying. Even that's like much respect to like my man's like James Harris and all them guys. Them guys harken back to that, like I said. And I remember that 2010 season when that one Sunday when motherfuckers was getting knocked out left and right. I said, they about to change this shit. I said, watch. And I'd be damned if they didn't. I said, too many jokers getting their asses knocked out. And this is why you have Deebo Samuels. And this is why you have AJ Johnson, I believe. I think it's my man playing with the Eagles on these physical type receivers. They're able to dilly-dally. They're bringing aggressiveness or intimidating factor on the offense side. This is what they're doing. They're doing that or hindering them to stiff arm because you can't do nothing as a defensive player. You can't intimidate them. You can't knock the shit out of them or whatever. Shit. George Atkinson sit up there saying that was a dirty play. He punched goddamn, and I'm saying that shouldn't go on like that. And I thought it was Russ Francis. Sometimes I think it might have been Russ Francis punched him and fuck his nose up and whatnot. I'm like, we ain't having that shit today. You ain't tiptoeing through the two there. I'm just letting you know. And they don't want to have that. And really, that's all shit come back down to money and whatnot for the most part. But you can't. I say the way this guy here plays, you guys wasn't playing, man. And that's the way, to me, that's the way the game is supposed to be played. But now but this is an offensive league that we play in nowadays. And they allow backs to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Wide receivers to just dilly-dally and tiptoe through the tulips and do whatever they want to do in this game. And there's no consequences. That's why Don Shula started the whole Mel Blount rule and whatnot, that was a bullshit move. I get it. You want to put some stuff in the game and stuff like that, offense, you was going to be able to do it anyway. But at the same time, you can't, you can't bump and run them and stuff. And let these guys just do whatever the fuck they want to do. And so now it has evolved into that of you have offensive players being the intimidators because they know you can't do nothing because you'll get a flag thrown on you and you'll get fined. And if nothing comes, that's why I say it never understood what I get the stiff arm. I see so many offensive players stiff arm cornerbacks and runners come and grab their face back and they sit up there with an aggressive and throw it up in their face. But you can't do that to a player when you pass rushing, but you can do that to get this person off you. Both of them are about creating separation at the end of the day. That's what it's all about. It's about creating separation at the end of the day. That's why you do it and whatnot. So it's all about that. But you can't do that. But this man right here, I said, he. So many other players was instrumental in my development into football. This man right here, I was like, that's what football is all about. Him and guys like Jack Tatum, Ronnie Lott, and all of them. I played ball when Ronnie Lott, when I was in high school, and Ronnie Lott was still playing ball and stuff like that. Singletary, them guys played. Them guys was there to knock your ass out and make you know you ain't coming up. That's part of the game. They flipped it now. And defensive players got to play literally with a goddamn hand tie around back and says, well, that kind of ball, yeah, they did this and that was back then. But that's what built the league into what it is today and whatnot. But Dick Butkus, man, I was like, it was the crunch course. He is crunch course. NFL films, he is crunch course. They put a lot of everybody up on there and whatnot. It's like it was sad for me. I didn't know Mr. Butkus or anything like that or whatever. It's not like crying or anything like that, but it's like, damn, I say that was part of my childhood, even though by the time I started really overstanding football and everything and playing football in high school and everything, but I started overstanding really when I got up here at 19 after coming out of high school. You saw these guys play ball, and you just like Butkus. And when I bought my first Crunch Course tape when I got up here. Crunch Course 1, Crunch 1, anything NFL related when I was able to get money to do that. Wasn't able to do that when I was a kid. That stuff really wasn't available at the time. But I got it, so I'm getting the Crunch Course tapes and all that stuff like that. And you watch how Butkus just used to lay motherfuckers out, man. And his presence reverberates to this day because they have a Dick Butkus Award, I think, in high school as well as in college and whatnot. But he brought the fucking ruckus, man. Every now and then I'll look at his highlights. It's just like, that's how ball was supposed to be played. I'm sorry for all the goddamn candy asses and whatnot. They had an issue about it and whatnot and how he played. But I'm like, that's how football was played. That's how it was meant to be played. But you can leave it down below. I said, tell me, if you haven't seen the shift where offensive players can sit up there, they're the intimidated ones. That they're the ones that do the intimidating. They're the ones that do that now. Defensive players can't do it. You can't. They called a bullshit call on Dallas last night as if it was going to make it because Dallas laid an egg and like shit. But I'll talk about that the next day or so and whatnot. That was complete garbage that they brought out there on that field. But that's why I don't get caught up. Still, man, early I don't get caught up in it's the best defense of Michael Parsons. I ain't see shit they did last night. I ain't see D-Law do nothing. Michael Parsons wasn't doing them and getting blocked, and everybody was getting their asses and kill torch whoever was goddamn on him the whole time. I'll make and whatnot. But Deebo Samuels and all them Ayuk and all them guys, and whatnot. Like I say, them every time San Francisco plays them guys, the way San Francisco plays, we're punching you in the mouth first. Dallas don't play that kind of ball. But not to get off the subject, I'll deal with that some other time. But that's what I'm saying. The intimidation factor of the game, and it was always for defensive players because in offense, it's not known for being intimidating and stuff like that, even though you can do that. But it's like, no. You have your run between your running backs and your wide receivers able to do all that stuff, and you can't intimidate players. So the play I'm talking about, number one, they made a play on McCaffrey, knocked his ass down and stuff like that, and my man just kind of just barely stood over him. It wasn't even anything that crazy. They threw a flag, and it was a third down play where they stopped him, and they threw a flag. You can't do that now. Butkus play, he couldn't play in the league nowadays. He couldn't play in the fucking league. So many players couldn't play in the league today. Because part of the game is intimidation. It's to take a motherfucker's will. That's a part of it. That's supposed to be a part of it. You trying to make it in and just, no, you don't do that. You play and you do this and you do it and you let them do this. No. He's trying to take something from you. He's trying to embarrass you. Knock his goddamn ass out. But they didn't took that out the game. So like I say, so an ode to them guys that played in that era. And Dick Butkus, and like I said, man, it's just like it was kind of sad. I felt a certain kind of way because, like I said, these guys around the same age. I mean, Butkus is like, what is shit? He's like maybe 2 or 3 years older than my pops, so it kind of a little bit there and whatnot. And I'm gonna end it this way here, and I'll go back. And it's a shame I don't think that man ever played in a playoff game. I don't think he ever played in a playoff game. If I'm not mistaken, Butkus went third overall, and then Gale Sayers went fourth overall. And neither one of them guys played in the playoffs. And it's a shame. I think I said this before when I did the one on Gale Sayers, because they did it football life on them guys. It's like, it's a damn shame. George Hallis didn't do anything. You had those guys with generational talents. They changed the game. Those two guys, 3 and 4, changed the game. Like I said, you see Barry Sanders, Gale Sayers was doing that back in the mid-'60s. Probably one of the greatest seasons, his rookie season. I'll put that up there with anybody. Rookie season, any season, it's top 5 at least. It's top 5. Unfucking believable, man. Unbelievable. Did everything. And you never put any pieces of the puzzle around him. Y'all won that championship back, I think, about it was 62, 63. And that was it. And Papa Bear did nothing else. And Chicago wasn't shit for almost lay dormant for right at 20-some odd fucking years, man. They got Peyton in 75 and then later on down there. And then, and the house was supposed to be cheap and all this kind of stuff. And it took damn near 20-some odd years for them to become even irrelevant. And that's sad for being cheap and not building around generational talent on both sides of the ball. On both sides of the ball. So like I say, man, rest in peace to the great Dick Butkus. Love watching him. And I'm gonna probably spend the rest of my day looking at old highlight films of him and whatnot. And it was before my time, but I was able to watch him. Once I got a thorough understanding of football. And I played linebacker in school and whatnot. And Butkus was like, could he play? Of course. I mean, he could play, but I'm just saying, based upon his style of play, it would be an issue. 6'3", 245, and we're talking about 1965. That's like linebacker, because he was a center in college. Center and linebacker. But his highlights, if that don't amp anybody up, then it's a problem, dude. You got a problem. You don't love football then. But yeah, like I tell you guys all the time, let's say, and if we just talking middle linebacker, middle. Not inside, we're not talking about the 3-4, just what you want your middle linebacker to do and how to be. It's him. It's him. It's him. Period. It's him. And I love Willie Lanier, Jack Lambert, Holster. They talk about Mike Schmidt, all these guys like that. It's this guy right here, man. So, rest in peace to Dick Butkus, and condolences to his family and whatnot. Great to watch. I tell you guys all the time, there's no GOAT, there's no greatest of all time as long as time's still going on. And like I tell you guys, numbers don't lie, get emotional. People do. Y'all have a good one.